It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio with us today, whether you're watching on TV or listening on the radio. ADOT's in the studio, the Arizona Department of Transportation. Last time we had ADOT here, we were talking about the Highway 179 construction project in Sedona, and that was, I want to say, a few years back now.
Yes.
Trisha Lewis is here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
It was good to meet you in person finally.
Thank you. You too.
Good to see you. You are the Community Relations Officer for ADOT for the Prescott District,
Correct.
I want to say.
Yes.
So what does that mean, Prescott District? Give me some borders.
Okay. ADOT is broken out statewide into 9 districts, including the Phoenix area.
Okay.
And so I handle the Prescott district, and our boundaries, they don't go by counties. Basically, I cross over 6 different county boundary lines, handle all the way down to Wickenburg, over to Aguila into Hope, and then the Verde Valley all the way up to Payson, over to Heber, and then down south to, or from here up to the Sedona city limits, if you will, and then down to New River and I-17. So basically, if you want to think about it, the middle part of the state is what I'm responsible for. And
so you travel a lot.
I do, yes. And there's my constituents, and there's one of me in all the districts. And so we're all supposed to be very savvy as far as the projects that are going on in our district and be aware of what impacts that has to the traveling public and let you guys know what's happening. And so hopefully we do a good job. I think we do, but it keeps us busy, and it's an interesting process for sure.
You're kind of a complaint department, right?
I can be, yes.
Yes, you can be.
Feel free to give me a call. Everybody does, you know, and that's just what I'm here for. A live person, have somebody to actually make the call, and it's amazing when I do answer the call or I respond to somebody's voicemail. They're so happy to have a live person to actually call them back.
Tell me about it.
And that's my goal, really, is to be the voice and the local contact for issues that are related to ADOT things. We are a major, we're a transportation agency, and so we have a lot of impacts to the traveling public and in every capacity you can imagine. And so the more we can help, I think the better, everybody's day is going to be.
We all use ADOT.
That's right.
We all use the roads.
That's right.
And we're here to talk about a road, I-17, from Camp Verde to the top of Copper Canyon, and you guys are starting a project out there.
That's right.
A big project.
This is a big project. This is another high-profile project, as I like to say, because
there have been a lot lately.
There have been,
on 17. Yes. I've noticed. Well, we've got Cordis Junction.
Correct.
Munns Park.
Yes.
And now Camp Verde.
And now
Camp Verde
interchange, southbound. Yes. If you've driven from here, from anywhere, Flagstaff down to Phoenix or even to Prescott southbound, even though it's southbound and you're going up the road, it seems kind of awkward, but that's what it is. It's southbound. I-17 is where we have a project that is starting. Really, the impacts are going to be starting tonight. This is a climbing lane. It's the first ever climbing lane on I-17. And so what it's going to do is, first the team is going to be starting at what we call an auxiliary lane.
Okay.
That'll be starting from 260, and it will go up to General Crook Trail. Basically, think of it as a dotted line, an on and off lane. It is just going to always be there. People can get on I-17, but accelerate and have the distance to do that, to get into high-speed traffic, or they can use that as an exit, to get off and get into General Crook Trail. So that is what the auxiliary lane is going to be. The crews are out there right now. I know that they're going to be setting up some barrier. They're going to be working in the shoulder. So during the daytime hours, between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., there are going to be some periodic, shoulder closures. Nothing major, won't impact traffic really that much. But at night, starting tonight, from what the contractor has told us, is they're going to be starting setting up the temporary concrete barrier so they can work behind there safely at night. And what they end up doing is just, they're going to have to move a lot of dirt and build a lane and all those kinds of things.
So this is for the auxiliary lane. We're just talking the auxiliary lane project.
That's just the first part of this project.
And how long is the auxiliary lane project supposed to take?
Well, this is part of the same project. This is also part of the climbing lane. This is the twofold, let's say, two-prong approach for this project.
Are they going to finish the auxiliary first and then move on to whatever's next, or this will be going on and then we'll have a couple of
This is the area of focus right now.
Okay.
And so I know that we have a lot of blasting and things that have to happen on the other project, as on the climbing lane further up the road.
Okay.
And I'll get to that in just a minute, but we're going to be, you know, really impacting traffic really on a minimal level right now with the auxiliary lane. There may be periodic lane closures in that area, just, you know, at night between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. I think are their work hours. So drivers can expect, you know, traffic at night is very, I mean, it's decreased a lot from the daytime travel, obviously, and so that's why we do these impacts and allow the contractor to do work at night and, you know, lane restrictions or even some closures, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So that is what ADOT is, you know, that's our goal, is to allow the contractor to get the job done, but within the minimal amount of impacts to the traveling public.
And nobody getting run over by a car.
Yeah, so we really encourage people to be aware of this project. There is signage up there. I know the speed limit's already been reduced to 55 down there. So I-17 is, you know, as you know, it's a high speed, it's an interstate. It carries traffic, goods and services through our state from north to south and south to north. And so we have to make sure that we're building a safe, you know, system, which we do have. We just started doing some improvements. The other portion of this project that we are just getting ready to start, about 4 miles down the road, north, I mean, you think it's north, but 4 miles south of Camp Verde, thank you. We are doing the, what we're calling the climbing lane. So as traffic is going, and if you've been, you know, driving that during the daytime hours and it's been behind a semi-truck, you'll know that it's a very steep hill. I mean, Copper Canyon, it is what it is.
From bottom to top.
The geography just presents itself as what it is. So ADOT is hired the same contractor, and it's part of the $11.8 million project that we're doing, adding a third lane, so we call it a climbing lane. So hopefully traffic, if you're coming from, let's say you're on I-40 and you're going towards Flagstaff, or even towards Ash Fork, if you will, there's 3 lanes there as well, and that's not as steep of a hill, but it's just kind of a visual that I could give your listeners, kind of an idea of what we're going to be doing. If you've driven that lately, you can see that it's a steep canyon right there, right to the right of the shoulder, and then the road, I mean the mountains right there. So what we're going to have to do is quite a bit of blasting. I
was going to say, yeah, there's a mountain right there along the side of the interstate, so you're going to have to move part of it.
We are, and so that is going to require blasting, like I said, to minimize traffic impacts at night. We're going to be doing that, and we just want to make sure that I mention, excuse me, with that happening, we're going to have up to 30-minute closures between their work hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m.
I was going to ask you about that, because when the blasting occurs, day or night, you are going to have to close the interstate for a little while.
And it'll be northbound and southbound. Even though the work's going to be on the southbound side, northbound traffic will actually be stopped also for
because
safety.
You never know.
Yes.
Never know.
So they're going to be blasting the mountain, and then they have to go in and clear out debris and all that they did blast, and then, you know, it's going to be a while. They are only allowed to close the interstate up to 30 minutes at a time. Then they need to release the traffic that's, you know, backed up. But keep in mind, this is at night. It'll only be through Monday night through, let's say, Thursday night. They're not allowed to have any work on Friday nights or during weekends or holidays. And that's pretty standard and typical of all ADOT projects. And that's kind of the same. It is the same way at Cordis, which we can talk about in a little bit. But
we have to take a break.
Okay.
We have to take a break.
Awesome. Okay.
ADOT's Community Relations Officer Trisha Lewis in studio today. I'm Paul David. We're talking about the big project in Camp Verde on I-17. Stick around. Countywide, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to Countywide. Trisha Lewis in studio today with ADOT. We're talking about the big project on I-17 southbound from Camp Verde up Copper Canyon Hill. I know the southbound uphill is just you go up and you think north. But
yes.
We're talking blasting. So the blasting will likely occur mostly at night.
It will, yes.
Yeah, and we could see some 30-minute delays in there. Do we know when they might reach that part of the project?
Right now they're just going to be setting up just to get prepared and obviously doing the auxiliary lane first. But they're just so your listeners and everybody knows, what we try to do is provide the most current information that we've been given. Things happen in the field and things can change, and so if they read it or hear about it that there's a lane closure and there isn't one, or let's say there something's changed from what they were expecting, this is not written in stone, and the contractor is allowed to have some flexibility with what they need to do. Whether it's, weather can always affect a project. So I'm just kind of throwing those things out there that we try to be as accurate as possible from what the contractor has given us.
Maybe a piece of equipment breaks that was going to be used that day.
Yes.
And they don't have another one right now.
Correct.
So they switch to do something else because you don't want everybody standing around twiddling their thumbs anyways, right?
And we have so many requirements, which is a good thing, that they have to meet certain specifications, and sometimes that happens with materials or what have you. So I'm just letting you know that too. But yes,
road work and delays?
I know.
Please.
We have to, that's one thing I've learned. I've got to be flexible. Exactly.
Right.
But yes, just so you guys, are aware that we will make sure that we mention when the delays actually start happening, because right now I'm not sure when the blasting will actually start.
Okay.
But the 30-minute closures will happen, and it can be as many times as they see fit between the 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. I wish I could say it specifically it's going to happen at 8:30 and 10:30 and midnight, but we don't know. So we're just going to say intermittent closures between those work hours. And so we really try to encourage drivers to add additional time to their travel and just be alert of this project and these projects that are going on, and just be safe and obey the speed limit and be aware of construction equipment and personnel, because we've got people out there in the middle of the night, and so that's my job, is to make sure, remind drivers, even though it seems they're off the road, they're really on the road on a high-speed, interstate. So just to make sure that, yes.
So we got 2 of these third lanes going in. Now, where they're going to go? The third lanes?
The third lane, the auxiliary lane is going to happen from State Route 260 and the I-17, what we call junk food junction, let's say. Okay. It's the on-ramp from getting on I-17 from 260 there in Camp Verde, and then it's going to be all the way up to General Crook Trail. So it'll be a long, let's just consider it a long on-ramp, or it'll be an exit ramp. So, I mean, it's an on and off ramp, basically. So these are new things. I see them popping up all over the place in our district. They're there so that there's a third lane for traffic to get in and out of, and that you see them in Phoenix, too. When they give you a specified, road exit, then you can get in and on the exit ramp a lot sooner than you used to be able to. So
the auxiliary lane that's going in, is this the same lane as the lane that's going to go in as for the semis to gain speed?
No, this is a separate lane.
Okay,
yes.
This is separate.
This will be shorter.
Okay.
It's only going to be from the 260 I-17 junction, the on-ramp cutting onto I-17 southbound, up until the General Crook Trail Road
that's our auxiliary
exit. Yes, so that will be like a third lane from the, I'm not sure exactly how many miles that is, but actually, let's see.
1 or 2.
Let's just say 1 or 2, yes. Yeah. So that's going to happen, and that'll be a third lane, consider it a third lane at that point.
Okay, so that's one of the third lanes.
When you're getting on General Crook Trail and you kind of go through the clover leaf, and then you have to really speed up to get into the right-hand lane, this will, hopefully allow traffic to catch their speed before they actually enter into the other 2 lanes of traffic. So that's happening for this one. And then also 4 miles up the road, up Copper Canyon, southbound, even though you're going up the mountain, is the climbing lane that is going to be to help ease traffic flow, for the truckers
so
that are
people get
trying
around
to
the
get up the
trucks.
hills.
The trucks,
yes.
everyone's seen those. The trucks will
Yes.
move all the way to the far right, and you've got time to get around them.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's going to happen, and this project is going to be in it's an active project from now until the end of the year.
Yeah, so this is a big
this is a pretty
duration.
big project. Yes, we're going to have impacts out there, I would say, at night for the next, kind of like we have at Cordis Junction, from now until, let's say, December. It may be done sooner, but right now that's what we're looking at as far as the traffic. We do have some work happening just south of 169. There's a waste area that the contractor's doing, prepping themselves to have for the extra dirt that they do remove off the highway and things like that. So not just up Copper Canyon, the truck pullout I want to mention will also be closed. That will go away.
Okay.
And
completely gone.
Yes, completely gone.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be closed if it's not already, and then that'll be eliminated once this third lane is added. So, but
Why
just,
get rid of that?
because the third lane's going to cross through there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, right at the top of that hill. So, and then crews will be down working past 169. They have their staging area just east of I-17 on Cherry Road.
Okay.
So they're just even south of where we're talking at the top of Copper Canyon. There'll still be crews out there as well. So just the project limits are somewhat
big work
further
zone.
than what than what we're specifically talking about.
All right. So 55 miles an hour through this construction zone. It's going to go on all year. Blasting.
Yes.
There's a good time. Blasting. That'll happen at some point in time for 30-minute
Yes.
delays at night. Okay.
Sometimes lane closures during the day. I don't really expect many of those to happen right now, but their hours are Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, if you see a lane closure up, then just slow down and be aware of it, really.
Yeah. I think we've all gotten used to construction on I-17, which brings me to another question for you. Cordis Junction got a huge facelift. That
Yes,
interchange
it
did. The Munns Park interchange got a huge facelift this last year and a half. It was a huge project
Right.
too. And what I've noticed at Munns Park, especially the bridges, of course, the old bridges were very narrow. They pretty much contain the 2 lanes in the shoulder. But those bridges are much, much wider now. You could almost get 4 full lanes
That's
in
true.
there. And then we've got Camp Verde is going to have a couple of 3rd-lane chunks now as you go up Copper Canyon. I feel like ADOT's maybe preparing for making all of I-17 much wider throughout the state.
That can
to deal
be
with a lot of, the weekends, it can be a real pain when you get an accident. There's
Right.
really no other way around.
And that's a really good point. As technology evolves and as things improve, so does transportation. And that's what our job is to provide the best transportation network in the state as we can. And I think ADOT does a really great job of doing that. And it's a really good point that you made. What we're trying to do, and there's one on Little Squaw Creek in on I-17, just kind of north of Black Canyon City. We just rehabilitated a bridge, and the shoulder there from the line out to where the edge of the road is enormous. We could put another 2 lanes there. ADOT's role is to really start thinking into the future. I can't tell you whether, we're going to widen I-17 from Flagstaff to Phoenix 4 lanes each way, but look at Phoenix, we have to constantly do improvements to meet the demands of traffic. And that's really what it's at. That's where we're at. Funding, we have to be very careful on how we spend the money, where it's spent and why. And so when we do these projects, if they can increase the capacity for future growth, then that is what they're doing. Right. And that is, it's a really good point that you brought up. And also that does allow for, let's say there is an accident on, I-17 at Munns Park or near there. We can use that extra room as, possibly a lane to get emergency traffic through there and or even just let traffic go, So there's options, and I think that, it's not a perfect system, but we're doing the best we can with we have a major $62 billion shortfall financially in the next 5 to 10 years, just because the world we live in today. So ADOT's really going into more of a maintenance type of structure to make sure we just maintain the roads that we already do have.
All right, we have to get another break.
Okay.
Trisha Lewis at ADOT in studio today. We're talking about the I-17 project in Camp Verde that got started last week and is going to continue all year long. Stick around. Countywide will be back in just a couple minutes.
Hello, everybody. I am Lou Ann Patterson. My family and I would like to welcome you to the Copper Star Indoor Shooting Range, Northern Arizona's premier shooting sports facility. We offer a 25-yard pistol range, a 50-yard archery range, and Arizona's only 100-yard indoor rifle range. In addition, we have a full-line gun shop as well as an archery pro shop. Come check us out. We're located at Highway 260 and Cherry Road, right next to Out of Africa. Looking forward to seeing you all.
I got no pulse for losing. Shocking. Drives it road all the time. Just had a few drinks. Just can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear. We just buzzed. Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right. This isn't happening. He'll be fine.
I feel good.
Really? No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shocking.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Fire can happen at any time. What would you try to save?
My family photos.
My grandfather's war memorabilia.
My dogs.
I'm firefighter Brandon Wacker with the Cotton Fire Department. A working smoke detector is your best defense in the event of a fire. Make sure you have a smoke detector in every room except your kitchen. Test them monthly and change the battery once a year. Take the time to save the things you can't replace.
Welcome back to Countywide, talking about the big project in Camp Verde on I-17 from Camp Verde Interchange up Copper Canyon. And that's taking place throughout the year this year, a third lane twice coming in. It's hard to say that. There's going to be 2 third-lane portions of southbound I-17, and then the auxiliary lane is the same thing, and then there's also the semi-lane for them to kind of launch out of Camp Verde and try to make it up that big hill.
Right.
Before we run out of time, we've got about a minute left. Cordis Junction. That project's been going on for a long time, and I hear it's maybe nearing completion.
It is. We're going to be done, at least with the final alignments and things that are in, the temporary barricades and the new, the old with the new, let's say, just to make it simple, is going to be done by the first week in March. Oh. Contractor's going to be out of there the end of next month. The roundabout we're doing in front of McDonald's should be done by the end of next month. If you're traveling southbound on I-17 right now, when you get to that junction, you have to kind of veer over to the left and then back. That's going to be realigned actually this week, Wednesday night through Thursday. So that's going to be just a straight shot down there, and then same with northbound next week. So we're really the contractor's done a great job on that project. We're getting really close to being done. Mm-hmm. And it's a fascinating project. We have a flyover bridge now, and heading northbound towards Prescott, so you don't have to slow down and interact with the slower traffic. And
I was going to say, the last time I went through there was last June, it's been almost a year since I've
You probably won't recognize it when you go through there.
Yeah,
it's
probably
really
not.
So yeah, we're going to be done. We'll have to come back and do final paving this summer when temperatures are warmer, but it's really been a fascinating project.
Well, all right, Trisha, it was good meeting you today.
You too.
Thanks for coming on the show and talk about this, and we'll keep track of this. And like Thursday, Fridays, you usually send a press release out, and we talk about it Friday, Saturday on the news, and then sometimes it spills over into Monday. So we'll keep track of it.
That's great. We always have these alerts, and anything we send out to the media is on our website as well.
So. AZDOT.gov is the website, AZDOT.gov. That's today's Countywide. We will talk to you again next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.